There is a kind of knowing that no book can hold, no lecture can deliver, no argument can prove. The Sufis call it marifa, direct recognition of the real. It is the wine that flows from cup to heart without ever touching the lips. The scholar reads about wine, the Gnostic drinks it. Junayd al-Baghdadi said, "The color of the water is the color of its container." Knowledge always takes the form of the heart it enters. And marifa, unlike ordinary learning, does not come from reading. It arrives as a light cast into the heart by the one who knows. Al-Hallaj put it more starkly: the knowledge of God cannot be carried by books nor written in lines. It is carried only in hearts. Diwan al-Hallaj. Knowledge is of two kinds: knowledge on the tongue, which is a proof against man, and knowledge in the heart, which is beneficial. The latter is marifa. It is recognition, not information. Marifa operates through what Ibn Arabi calls divine self-disclosure, tajalli. The real reveals itself through the very consciousness that thinks it seeks. Al-Qushayri writes, "Marifa is a light that God casts into the heart of his servant, by which he knows God through God." This is the ontological reversal at Marifa's heart. The seeker discovers they were always the sort, temporarily veiled by the illusion of separation. The Sufi path unfolds in stages. First, Sharia, the law, the form, the container. Then, Tariqa, the path, the discipline. Beyond that, Haqiqa, the truth behind the form. And then, Marifa. Ibn Arabi is blunt. Marifa is a light God casts into the heart of whom he wills. It is not acquired by effort, nor taken from teacher to student. Futuhat al-Makkiyah. Dhul-Nun al-Misri described the stance of the Gnostic. The Gnostic is he whose outward is with creation, and whose inward is with the truth. Hilyat al-Awliya. And Al-Kharaz adds, "The mark of the Gnostic is that he is rich without gold, strong without soldiers, and safe without fortresses." Risala al-Qushayri. Up to this point, effort is needed, discipline, patience, trust, but marifa is never taken, it is only received. It arrives when there is nothing left in you that could resist it. And Ruzbihan Bakli whispers, "The Gnostic swims in the ocean of meanings without shore or bottom. Abhar al-Ashikin." The reality of gnosis is bewilderment. Junayd al-Baghdadi, Risala al-Qushayri. It is not about crossing a boundary, it is about dissolving the map. The technical term is ishraq, illuminative knowledge that bypasses the rational faculty entirely. Surawardi describes it as knowledge by presence versus knowledge by correspondence. The Gnostic doesn't learn about the real, They become the location where the real knows itself. This is why Bayezid said, "I went from God to God until they cried from me in me. O thou I." The I that began the journey dissolves into the I that was always the destination. Bayezid Bistami shattered the illusion of second-hand knowing. The Gnostic takes his knowledge from the living one who never dies. The scholar takes his knowledge from the dead who took it from the dead. Tadkirat al-Awliya. Shibli gave a taste of its flavor. The first breath of the Gnostic is gratitude without cause. The last is praise without self. Risala al-Qushayri. And Abu Sa'id ibn Abil Khair spoke the condition. Whoever is with God without any self is with the people without any need. Asrar al-Tawhid. The Gnostic is hidden among the people. None knows him but God. Sal al-Tustari, Tafsir al-Tustari. And Junayd cut to the heart, the Gnostic has no shore, for he has plunged into the sea of the real. These are not metaphors for study habits. They are descriptions of a consciousness lit from within by a flame no library can kindle, and once lit, it burns away the one who thought they were seeking. Ibn Arabi maps this precisely in his doctrine of the perfect human, al-Insan al-Kamil. The Gnostic becomes the isthmus between the hidden and manifest, the place where divine consciousness recognizes its own nature. Al-Jili elaborates, the perfect human is the mirror in which God sees his own beauty. This is consciousness discovering its own divine ground through the dissolution of personal identity. Atta placed it in the valley of knowledge. In the valley of knowledge, knowing is not knowing until the knower is gone. Conference of the Birds. Al-Hallaj, who died for what he saw, said, "I saw my Lord with the eye of my heart. I said, 'Who are you?' He said, 'You.'" Diwan al-Hallaj. And Abu Yazid Bistami echoed, "When I reached him, I saw that I had always been there." Tadkirat al-Awliya. And Rumi sang of the same disappearance. "The knower is not he who speaks of God, but he in whom God speaks." Masnavi. This is why Marifa cannot be passed like a coin. To receive it, you must first vanish enough to stop blocking the view. The tradition describes specific stations of Marifa. First, Marifat al-Yaqeen, gnosis of certainty, where conceptual knowledge transforms into direct recognition. Then, Ayn al-Yaqeen, the essence of certainty, where the witness merges with the witnessed. Finally, Haq al-Yaqeen, the truth of certainty, where even the experience of merging disappears into pure being. Rumi maps this progression. First I sought the beloved, then I sought the seeker, then I realized seeker and sought were one. Abu Bakr al-Kalabadi wrote, "Gnosis is to see the real in everything without confusing it with anything." Kitab al-Ta'aruf. The Gnostic doesn't float above the world. Their feet remain here. Their hands still work. Their outward is with creation. Their inward is with the truth. Ibn Ata'illah al-Iskandari gave another sign. The Gnostic is not veiled from God by the coming or going of things. Hikam. The Gnostic sees the light of God in everything, then sees everything vanish in the light of God. Abul Qasim al-Qushayri adds, "The Gnostic walks in markets, eats with the people, and yet his heart never leaves the presence. They can speak about God while buying bread. They can see the face in a beggar and in the one who refuses the beggar. They've crossed a threshold where there is no longer God and I, only the seeing itself." This is what the tradition calls baqa ba'd al-fana, subsistence after extinction. The Gnostic returns to the world of multiplicity, but now sees through divine eyes. Ibn Ata'illah describes this state. The Gnostic sees only God in everything, while seeing everything in its proper place. It's not that the world disappears, but that its true nature as divine self-manifestation becomes transparent. Every form becomes ayah, a sign pointing to its source. You can't force marifa, but you can clear the space where it might arrive. Rumi offers the shortest path. The knower is not he who has read the proofs, but he who has seen the friend. Masnavi, Book 3. Junayd again, "The end of knowledge is to know that you cannot know him." Risala al-Qushayri. Ibn Arabi affirms it. Knowledge of God comes when the knower has vanished, and only the known remains. Practice so your attention can stay still. Purify so the heart reflects what looks at it. Serve so the self is too busy with love to guard itself. Then perhaps the real will look through you and recognize itself. The paradox deepens. Marifa cannot be attained because it was never absent. Al-hallaj's notorious al-hallaj, "I am the truth," points to this recognition. Not that the ego becomes God, but that the ego's dissolution reveals what was always already the case. Ibn Sina calls this the intuitive intellect, aql mustafad, where individual consciousness recognizes its cosmic nature. The mystic realizes they were never separate from what they sought to know. Junayd's image stays. The color of the water is the color of its container. When the container is clear, the water shines as it is. No effort will make it arrive faster. No clinging will keep it. It comes as gift, and when it comes, the one waiting is gone. The paradox deepens. Marifa cannot be attained because it was never absent. Al-hallaj's notorious al-hallaj, "I am the truth," points to this recognition. Not that the ego becomes God, but that the ego's dissolution reveals what was always already the case. Ibn Sina calls this the intuitive intellect, aql mustafad, where individual consciousness recognizes its cosmic nature. The mystic realizes they were never separate from what they sought to know. Rumi gives the last word. Love is the sea where the intellect drowns.